I'm Dr. Willie Jolley.
And this is Dee.
Dee Taylor-Jolley, and we're the authors of the book. What's the name of the book, Dee?
Make love.
Make love.
Make money.
Make money.
Make it last.
Make it last. And we made it last, haven't
we? Yes.
How do we do that? How do we do that?
By being nice to each other.
How long?
To each other.
How long have we been married?
37 years.
What's our anniversary, Dee?
28.
Of what month?
June.
Now that sounds funny, folks, but there was for a couple years when we first got married, she would not remember the anniversary no matter what I tried to do. I was always, hey, Lithia, I was always talking about our anniversary. And I said, what's our anniversary? She said, So anyway.
It was so last minute and chaotic.
Well, I love all of y'all who joining us. Thank you for all of you who have made this a popular show. We just been keep doing it, and organically it has grown.
Happy President's Day. I hope you didn't spend any money.
All right. And so we're very grateful, very grateful, very grateful. We want to get right into tonight's subject because it's really an interesting subject matter. First of all, we had last week had Valentine's Day celebration. We had a Valentine's Day celebration last Monday night. And
it was that you didn't have to break the bank.
You did not have to spend a whole lot of money to show somebody you love them. And one of the things I forgot
make everyday Valentine's Day.
And make everyday Valentine's Day. And I don't know if I said it last week. We've said it over the years. We during Christmas, I know we asked, give your loved one a gift that doesn't cost any money. Ask them for a gift that you can give them that doesn't cost a penny, but that's important to them. And we got so many positive responses from that. Wow, we got so many positive responses from people who said, wow, I never thought of that. And some of the responses we got back, were really why. Wow. Willie Larkin, thank you for your telling your folks in your state and your church and your community about the book, and they bought a big box of them. So the books are moving. Anyway, last Monday night, we did a special Valentine's Day, and a lot of people took our advice and bought books. They bought the book for their loved one. They bought 2 copies as a way to say, you know what, we are willing to invest in our marriage. And they bought, one lady bought the bundle, or a couple people bought the bundle. So, Senior Terrence, thank you for your professing and promoting the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage.
So it's not just buying it, it's actually
reading it.
With it.
Yeah, reading it.
Acting on it.
And acting on it.
So it's one thing to buy it and hold it up to your head and think by osmosis it's going to work. It doesn't work that way.
We want you to have self-help, not shelf-help.
Oh, that's good.
How do you like that, baby?
You're so smart. Self-help, not shelf-help.
That you don't just let it sit on the shelf, that you act on it. You read the book and you take action on the points in the book because they are.
Or watch the video or listen to the audio.
Yes. Yes.
Because everybody is not a reader.
You're so cute.
Thank you.
She turns me on. I get to.
He's a sanguine. You know what a sanguine is?
Tell me about
a personality who loves to talk.
Yeah.
Cheery.
Yeah.
Loves to tell stories.
Yeah.
Life of the party.
Yeah.
And loves people. That's you.
And that's how I got you. You can't say that. You can't say what you usually say. What we say in private is.
Then how you can't say it? If we say it in private, then how you gonna say it now?
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. You were persistent. You were persistent.
Brother brought it. You hear what I'm saying?
You were persistent.
All right. Anyway. Let's talk about
our topic.
Yeah, that's topic tonight. This is a very important topic. It's an important topic.
Okay.
And
our title is "A Leopard Cannot Change Its Spots, Even If You Fuss at the Leopard All Day Long." Ooh. So you need to unpack it. So what does that mean?
Well, that means that some people go into a relationship trying to change the person's hardwiring. Okay, and you've been doing a lot of research on.
That's because I'm getting ready to teach a class, actually, women's focused study group at First Baptist Church of Glen Arden. It's an online class and it talks about temperaments.
Right.
And there are actually 4 basic temperaments. Our innate, inborn behaviors that are like you're born with gray eyes, green eyes, black irises or brown irises. And there's certain kinds of behaviors that you come with, hardwired with.
And so no matter how much somebody fusses at you, you can't change that?
Correct.
So you couldn't.
But knowing what your temperament is, which has strengths and weaknesses, you can enhance your strengths and chip away at your weaknesses if you know what your temperament is.
But that's not even talking about strengths and weaknesses. Let's talk about the hard wiring. Somebody's an extrovert, talks to everybody, hugs everybody, and their mate says, I don't want you to hug nobody. I don't want you to talk to people.
That's not gonna work.
But they want them to do it.
That's not gonna work.
But I mean they fuss all day long. I don't want you to do that.
It's not gonna work.
We talk about that.
That's their very nature. Now maybe there can be some compromise because your very nature is you go up and you want to hug people. That's why the restrictions with the pandemic have been so hard for you, being inside and wanting to go up and hug everybody, even in the Walmart, right?
I want to talk to them and hug them. That's right. I want to hug everybody.
But learning how to do the fist bump or the elbow bump has been beneficial for you. On the other hand,
it's hard.
I don't. It's no problem at all.
It wasn't no problem for you at all.
Put on the whole the uniform, the mask, the glasses, the hazmat suit. I'm good to go.
You're good to go, and she has been good to go, and she has been. So what we're saying to people is this: listen carefully. That we've had so many people who we've talked to who are trying to change their spouse's hardwiring. Now, certain things you change. I've changed a lot of things since I got married.
I think you modified. You really have not changed. Your basic personality is that you're not neat.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go to that one. That was the one I was gonna go to. I'm not a neat guy. Okay, I'm not a.
And that's because there's certain things you just simply don't see.
Okay, I don't see it.
I'm just saying you don't see it. So once I stare at you and realize that wasn't gonna work, you don't even see what I see. Again, it goes back to how you're hardwired. So you're looking, your window through which you see stuff is very different than the window with which I see stuff.
Oh, excuse me. I got distracted.
Are you paying attention?
The
window through which you see the world is very different than the window through which I see the world.
Right. That's exactly right. So that said, one of the things people try and do is try and change somebody's hard wiring. I'm an extrovert. I'm not neat. Now, I have gotten neater over the years. I did wash the dishes, didn't I, the other day?
Yes, you did.
Yesterday. And then I made up the bed. Every day I make up the bed now.
You make up the bed every day because we have agreed as to how to make it easier for you to do it. Yes. Right?
Yes.
So again, that goes to compromising. And you make up the bed because I made up my side because I'm already gone by the time you get up, right?
Yes.
But you're conditioned to do that because we've talked about it and we have a reward system that works.
Brother, like getting rewarded, I will make up that bed every day. Every day, I'll make up the bed.
It requires going back to communication.
Yes, it does.
Number one, it requires that communication.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So,
all right, let me say hello to Pam Peters from Nashville. She heard us speak when I was there for the Get Motivated tour. Set up for a comeback seminar. Thank you, enjoyed it. Willie Larkin said that there should be a competition among the 50 states to see which one can save the most marriages by buying all your books. Amen. Who will have lasting marriage, the East, the West, North, South, or the Midwest. I agree with that. Thank you.
How do we do that?
That's a good one. Everybody should be buying that book and getting it at your church.
Share it.
And your church ministries. I want to thank you, Willie Larkin, for taking it to your church and they buying a box. Every church get a box for their church ministries. You know what? Here's
Share with the couples ministry, because there are many churches that have couples ministry.
Couples ministry. Share with your couples ministry, because when we do the seminars, and we've done a number of them virtually, and we get the questions that anonymous. Wow, most of the questions at churches deal with sex. Am I right? Sex issues.
Which is really communication issues.
It'll come down to communication, but something sexual that ain't happening. Somebody not working.
Because they're not
kind.
They're not communicating with each other. And if they're talking to each other, communicating is the body language. It's the eyes. It's all of that. And a lot of it is how you say. A lot of people say, well, I'm communicating, but you're communicating in a very offensive manner. You don't know how to say even uncomfortable conversations, having courageous conversations. You don't know how to talk to somebody. Isn't that terrible?
It's terrible.
And then it comes down to cultures also. If you grew up in a household where everybody's hollering at everybody, you kind of think, well, this is normal, or I might not like that. But if this is the only thing that you know, when you have your environment, you tend to do what you've always done and always seen, which is people hollering and screaming at each other. So you do the same thing. So it becomes this mad cycle, right?
It's unbelievable. So we talk about this in the book quite a bit, of compromise, and we have stories about the power of compromise and the great marriages who compromise and work together. But I want to talk about something. I had a great conversation today with my friend Dr. Johnny Parker, who wife Leslyn often is here on watching or viewing the show. Dr. Johnny Parker is the men's minister.
Is he a psychologist?
He's
a psychologist,
and he is a counselor, and he's just
at First Baptist Church of Glenarm.
At First Baptist Glenarm, First Baptist Church of Glenarm, and he's in charge of the men's ministry. And he is a brilliant man, and they have a whole curriculum, and they do marriage counseling and coaching. I think they do more coaching. We don't do counseling per se.
So what do we do?
Marriage mentoring,
which is. Okay, what is it?
Marriage mentor will tell you what worked for us, and we recommend it'll work for you. See, a mentor is someone who's done what you want to do, and they tell you how to avoid the pitfalls because they've already done it.
You watch them continue to do it and work through their challenges.
That's right.
And how they work through the challenges.
Versus a coach.
And a kind, thoughtful coach tells you what to do and pushes you and encourages you to do. Then you come back and report, okay, and then you fix it and you go back again.
On a counselor, they'll tell you, they'll listen to both sides of the story and tell one who's right and one's wrong. We don't do that. Like when my niece called, she and her husband had a big blow up. I said, should they start about who did what, who said it? Stop. Stop. No. That's immaterial to me. Who said what? Y'all don't have systems. The two of y'all don't have a system for disagreeing. And so let me tell you how we have a system. And we shared the system with them, our system with them. And they started using the system. That's been 3 years ago. She told me, I talked to her the other day. 4 years ago.
Because the year after they renewed their vows.
Okay.
And that was pre-COVID.
And then they got the book, and so here's what she told me the other day. I talked to her the other day. She said, we haven't had an argument, Uncle Willie, since y'all gave us the keys to the system.
They also have mutual respect. All right, let's get back to this case.
Let me get back to this case. So I want to give Johnny Parker a shout out. Turn the Page, I believe is the name of his website, Turn the Page. But
he has a book?
He has a book. They have a book, and they have a workbook and a book. Dr. Johnny Parker, he's great, fantastic. So I highly recommend him. But I want to talk about him because one thing he told me today. I had a conversation with a gentleman who
has conversations with you often.
Well, not often, but we have had conversations. And every time he tells me all these arguments and stuff he and his wife have, just about stupid stuff. I said,
Is that your opinion?
I said, that's stupid.
Is that your opinion?
That's my opinion. Why are you arguing about that? That's no need to argue about that. But that's what they do all day long. And I said, is this like every day? Yeah, every day. It's always some drama. And so while we were talking, Dee called me And I saw her on the phone. I'm talking to this guy, and I said, "Hold on, my man." And I hit and D. I said, "How you doing, baby?" She said, "I'm fine." She said, I'm leaving the gym. I'm going to get some coffee. I got a couple more runs." I said, "Great. Be careful. I'm gonna go ride my bike." And I said, "I love you." She said, "I love you." I said, "I'll see you in a little while. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you." That's our life. That's our life. I mean, and I went back to him and I said to him, "Yo, dog, listen. That was my conversation with my wife. And yet your conversations with yours, it's always drama. It's always arguing. It's about stupid stuff. Who turned out the light? Who didn't turn out the light? Who gonna put the alarm on it? Stupid stuff. And y'all arguing about it. And it don't make sense." So I called my friend Johnny Parker after I hung up with this guy. Because I said, "That's sad. It's just sad. It's sad that y'all have these arguments all the time. It doesn't make any sense." And I said, "Johnny, have you ever had people who argue all the time and just at each other's throat all the time? It doesn't make any sense." Oh, yeah, I have it all the time. He said there are 3 points, and I want to give this to y'all because it was so profound and so rich. 3 points that successful married people have figured out, and they make it part of their routine, of their system, even if they don't articulate it. 1, he said, you must humble yourself. Humble yourself over and over again. Humble yourself. Or as my friend, Dr. Rodney Ellis said, who is our doctor, he said,
our general
physician. He said, a successful marriage made of 2 imperfect people who are constantly perfecting their ability to forgive. Oh, that's good. Who is that?
So you need to unpack it quickly. What does it mean to humble yourself?
Humble yourself is to not always have to be right. You don't have to always be right. I don't have to be right all the time with my wife.
So why do you think some people always have to be right?
Because they think they got to be right, because they will not humble themselves, because they got pride. Okay. I got to be right. And my way is the right way.
Pride cometh before a fall?
Pride cometh before the fall of your marriage, okay?
So I think my humble opinion is that there's an element of insecurity.
Yes. Okay, but that you do an SBI again. I always go back to SBI. Okay. You cannot tell why they do what they do. You can say, here's what you need to do in order to succeed. I don't know what their motivation is, whether they're insecure, which is probably right, or whether they're angry, or whether they have some repressed. Why else
wouldn't you want to compromise with somebody?
Because they got to be right. I got to be right. That's
so
why.
If you're not right, then you feel insecure. You feel less than.
I got a friend who's his wife says his position on life is, I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
Are they together?
Yeah, they still together because she understands how he's hardwired. Okay. All right. So first of all, humble yourself. Got to be willing to humble. Number 2, Johnny said you got to own your stuff. You got to own your stuff, which means you're insecure. You got to own it. He said, if whatever you don't own will own you. Good God, all right, that is good. Whatever you don't own will own you. So you got to own that you got insecurities. And
so how do you admit that your stuff is messed up if you're insecure?
Well, that might be one thing. It could be something else besides insecurity. Okay, whatever it is, though, you got to own it. Whether you got to be right all the time, whether you think you are smarter than everybody else and everybody else is inferior. Whatever you don't own will own you. Then the third one he said is that you must practice empathy and become good at the practice. If you do not hear their cry, they will not know you love them. Or he put it a different way. When you hear their cry, your partner will feel loved. When you hear their cry, they will feel
How will you hear their cry?
Because you are willing to be empathetic and say, I feel you. I'm feeling for you. I get it. You say to me, if you said to me, my feelings were hurt, my empathy, I would say, okay, I get it. I'm not going to try and tell you you're not. You got some those are things. He said, Dr. King said it like this. He said, a riot is the voice of the unheard. And when you're unheard, how do you show it? You just go off. Okay. So You got some stuff. I want to say hello to Dr. Delatoro, our other son. He's on tonight. TK Johnson's on tonight. Willie Larkin, I love what you're saying, and thank you for getting the books to your church. And Derek Johnson, amen. And then Kevin Williams. Our MCM is at First Mount Zion Baptist Church. Truly enjoyed the months of exercise from your book. Thank you so much. Marriage class. Thank you. Thank you. All the churches that are starting to get the book and making it part of their curriculum. We're just so grateful. Because you know we have faith. Faith right on the, it's going to be Bible, but it's also about real life. You got to talk about the sex. And you know, a lot of churches don't want to.
I think you always go back to
I got to go back to the sex. Brother got to talk about the sex. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, empathy. I asked you, what is empathy?
Yeah, you got
said
the ability to feel the pain and hurt.
Okay, two renowned psychologists, a man by the name of Daniel Goleman and Paul Ekman.
Daniel Goleman.
It's Goleman. Is that how you pronounce it?
I know who it is. It's Daniel Goleman.
Okay. They've identified 3 components of empathy. That's totally new to me. Cognitive, emotional, and compassionate. Cognitive says simply knowing how the other person feels and what they might be thinking, sometimes called perceptive talking. I never heard of that. Imagine yourself in your friend's shoes. You know what they're feeling and why they're anxious. That's the cognitive part of empathy.
Next.
Okay. Then there's the emotional empathy, when you feel physically along with the other person as though the emotions were contagious. It's kind of like when you when somebody says, I stubbed my toe, or something even more dramatic, like getting their finger caught jammed in the door, door, and you like.
I'll tell you one that every brother can experience.
What?
When they ride the bike and they hit the handle, they hit the crossbar, they bump off of the bike and they hit every brother, or they get hit in the private areas with a ball or something. Every brother in the world say, "Oh, I feel your pain."
So
am I right about the brothers? Am I right about?
So you're physically feeling.
I feel their pain. I feel their pain.
So your empathy is cognitive. You understand what they did. The empathy is emotional. You're feeling what they felt. And then the next is compassionate. With this kind of empathy, we not only understand a person's predicament and feel it, but spontaneously move to help if possible. So because you identify with them, the incident, you're emotionally connected. You physically feel what they're feeling. And then thirdly, because you have compassion, you want to take action.
You want to help them. And that's what we want to do.
So that's empathy.
And that's the empathy that we've developed over the years, where we've helped each other through the tough moments. When her dad died, my mama died, we had to help each other and hold each other up. When her mama died, I had to hold her up, okay? And so empathy. So again, Dr. Johnny Parker says you humble yourself first. You got to own your stuff, but whatever you don't own will own you. And then you must practice and work on perfecting empathy. Because when you hear their cry, then your partner will feel love. And
I think empathy is something that you learn.
Yeah, you learn
it.
It's a learned behavior. It doesn't have to come. You can learn. You decide. You put it on. Like you put on your clothes. You put on empathy. And that's what we were saying downstairs. You choose it. You choose to make these decisions. By the way, Johnny Parker's website, I just got it from him, is johnnyparker.com. JOHNNY Parker. Get his book, get his resources. Send him a note, say, I heard you. Dr. Willie Jolley spoke about you. He said you were the bomb.com, and he's brilliant. So
empathy is something that you can learn and you can put it on.
That's right.
And I would say by your nature, you are empathetic, and I have learned from you your ability to connect with people, because that is how you are hardwired. I am not hardwired that way.
I think it's part of that being hardwired that way, but I also think it's the years of seminary and the classes I took on counseling and on things that
I didn't get any of that.
No,
I did not get, but I learned from you.
Yes,
and I have studied you. And I have learned patience from you. And I've also learned, because of how I'm hardwired, I am not the person to offer advice.
When somebody comes and says,
No,
I got a problem.
Don't say, no.
I got a problem.
No,
I need counseling.
I am very well. I will say, oh, let me get Willie for you. Because it is my natural nature to go to the bottom line.
Right to the bottom, right
and
to.
So all of the conversation and stuff, like when we have, I'm like, give me the end, and then you can fill me in on the details later.
Yeah, she wants the end.
That is not.
I'm trying to tell her a story. Like I'm trying to tell her a story.
But I'm saying that is not what. If you're hurting, I am aware. That is not what the person wants. They want you to sympathize.
But I want to give you the story. I
want
to set you up.
And so I have to work on. I know. So I have to work on that, because that is not a natural position for me.
But whatever the case is, you turn me on.
Thank you.
You're cute.
So I work at it, and I'm saying if it is, if it is important to you in your relationship, you will work on it. Is it easy? No. So that means I have to discipline myself to keep my mouth shut when I really want to say, oh, what? What's the bottom line? What are you trying? He has chipped away some of those.
She looks. Isn't she cute?
He has chipped away some of those rough edges and made me aware of my limitations. How can I be more thoughtful and understanding for people whose temperaments are different?
I never set out to work on your limitation. I just showed you models for you, things that I did.
How you're able to get along with people.
Yeah, okay, and you picked it up, and so Willie Locker said, should married couple be equally yoked?
I don't know what that means.
I don't. I hear that. What does
that mean? Does that mean equally yoked in terms of income, temperament, socioeconomic standard? What does it mean? Believing in Jesus? What does it mean to be equally yoked? There are all these different pieces to it.
Right.
Is it primarily your faith? You'd be of the same faith.
Or do you have to go to the same church? Because one of the things we're reading, I was just reading today, that a lady said she grew up in the South, and her parents, there was a lot of little churches, and her parents came from different communities and home churches, and they grew up, when they got married, they continued to go to their home church.
They did not worship together. That's
correct. Okay.
So then there is the possibility that sitting under different teachings, some of the teachings, the
could be, but you know what? All the preachers were talking the same thing. They were all friends. Anyway, look, our time is just about up. We wanted to get to this. Remember this, go to johnnyparker.com. That's my man, because he gave me such great information. Humble yourself, own your stuff, practice empathy.
We didn't get to a dose of D.
All right, go dose of D.
Just a quick thing. Reverse mortgages. Okay, there was a settlement with AAG. AAG is all over the television telling people 65 and older how they can get a reverse mortgage and get all this money that they didn't save before they retired, and they can live on comfortably. It didn't happen. They settled with the federal government for like 1.3 million because they were providing incorrect information about people who were borrowing. They said your house was valued at $500,000. You could get $500,000, and really you could only get $300,000 or $200,000. That was a mess. Okay, and if you earn less than $125,000 a year, you should have a Roth IRA. That's all I gotta say.
Wow. Okay, that's
it for my little tips for tonight. And we're over time. Right. We're 4 minutes over time.
Well, all right. So, folks, I want to encourage everybody to go to jollymarriage.com or ajollymarriage.com and get the book, get 2 copies, or get the bundle. We really recommend the bundle. And it's much cheaper than an hour with a therapist or an hour with a divorce lawyer. Much cheaper. And so we've had so many people who are on their way to divorce court who said, I'll give it one more shot, and got the bundle, and it turned everything around. With the bundle, you get the 2 books, 2 workbooks, an audio book, and a seminar on CD. So get that. We want to save marriages all over the world, and we're thankful for all the people around the world who are sharing this, whether they're live or they're replaying the program. If you're watching on the replay, whether on Instagram or on Facebook or on LinkedIn, share the link with others who you know need it, because so many marriages are struggling, and we want to help as many as we can. So we want to thank you.
Even if you're not married.
If you're not married, we
get a head start, so you won't be struggling.
And Terrence, our friend Terrence, says that's his main push is to get people who are not married to get the book. Thank you, Terrence, for that. He's been telling, but he bought a bunch of them for people on his class, on his Facebook show. So he bought a bunch of books. So look, if you're not married, get the book. There's a chapter in there for you to help you.
But the whole book.
Yeah, but that whole book.
About
it does.
Relationships and just the fundamentals, nothing fancy.
That's right. But there's a chapter for people so you can separate the suspects, the prospects from the suspects. And we want you to separate them. All right, look. Thank y'all. Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Willie Larkin, thank you for sharing
minutes.
this with your church and all the other churches who have made this part of their routine. We thank you. We want to thank everybody. We're grateful for
we
all
really
of you.
Appreciate your carving out 30 minutes, 35 minutes of your time. So it's time to go.
It's time to go. We got to go.
Share us with other people.
Let me give you music as we go out, because see, some of y'all didn't get the music on the way in, so we'll give you the music on the way out, and hope you'll enjoy it for my jazz album, Close to You. Be well. God bless you.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.